Hi, I'm Anthony Casey, and welcome to episode 9 of Training Thought and Truth. Okay, so I'm here with Mary Lou McDonald, and unexpectedly, but at the People's Rally on Suicide Prevention Day, and basically the podcast I'm doing is about mental, physical, and spiritual health. So I think the three are interchangeable. You know, if you look after your mental health, it gives you more drive to look after your spiritual health, which helps all together. You know, but really, I was just wanted to talk about your experience, if you had any, with coming across mental health and likes of this, how important days like this are for getting the community out and everyone going together for a good cause and things in that matter.
For sure, and when you come to an event like this, it really drives it home to you that all of us, really whatever you do in your life, that all of us need to do two things. We need to take time for ourselves and we need to take time for each other.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I'm very struck talking to people here in the crowd, some who have had the absolute devastation of losing someone to a death through suicide.
Yes.
And just talking about that space, that what that leaves behind.
Yeah.
And all of the questions and all of the what ifs.
Yeah.
And then having the conversation around all of us being just brittle human beings, and you can have bad days. I have bad days. All of us have bad days.
Yeah.
You can have bad parts of your life, bad experiences, but so long as we keep telling each other that it's okay not to be okay, that's the first bit. But more than that, if you're not okay, reach out. Don't go down that dark place on your own, because if you reach out, it will pass. As bad as it seems, as dark as it seems. In my own work, it's a very high pressure, at times very stressful job.
I can imagine.
It's a job that's all about being with people, but it can actually be quite a lonely job because, when you have to make big calls or do different things, you're kind of on your own and you can feel a bit isolated. So for me, I make sure that I have plenty of people around me that I can reach for and that I can talk to.
Yeah, and isn't that so important? I think I was only looking up, the whole feeling of isolation when people think they're isolated, and surround yourself with good friends or picking your good company or knowing who to reach out to if these things happen.
Absolutely.
And as well, I was looking up a lot kind of research before coming here today, and I looked up, I saw this experiment about this. They had this mouse in a cage, or a mouse in a cage, and it had water, and it was given water with, I think it was either heroin or cocaine, and just normal water. And the rat by itself in isolation always went to the drugged water and killed itself. But when they put more mice in and balls and things to play with, they put the two waters, no mice went for the water with drugs, and it's just interesting. Maybe it's not, maybe it's the cage we put ourselves in, basically, when you isolate yourself. I think that's
a really good metaphor, because everything is kind of interconnected,
Yeah.
And you have to. I had this conversation with a friend of mine the other day around actively deciding to walk into the light and to choose things that affirm you and that make you happy. Whether it's going for a walk, whether it's going for a jog, physical activity is great for the old happy hormones. But whatever it is, if it's going to the pictures, if it's going to the zoo, if it's reading a good book, but to actively, consciously remind yourself that you actually have to look after yourself, and you have to actually look after your happiness.
Yes.
And then to watch for people around you. And anyway, I'm delighted to be here in Ballyfermot.
Yeah.
What a great community. What a great community of people, because that's the other thing. None of us lives in splendid isolation. Like, we all live in families, we live in communities.
Yeah.
And even though we're busy, and Dublin's now a really big, busy, fabulous city, it's really important to break things down again to the street, to the village, to
the smaller communities.
So we can mind ourselves and mind each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I appreciate you coming over and
Not at
speaking
all.
about
Delighted
it.
to
I
see
appreciate
you,
it. Thanks very
thanks so
much.
much.
Thank you, Mary Lou.
Lovely to meet you.
That's great.
The organisation called Home, helping others more every day. I think Ballyfermot should be incredibly proud of Warren and of Kelly, and incredibly proud of yourselves. So when you come together to stand together and to help and support each other, you can do it in style. And the lads even managed to get the sun out for you. I mean, my God, I want them to be in charge of our 5 in a row efforts next weekend, and I'm very sure we'll win. So today, you're here supported by Dublin City Council, by the Fire Service, by An Garda Síochána, by Family Base, who are here based in the community. And I know there was some anxiety about having an event like this, because losing someone to a death by suicide is absolutely devastating. But today is a positive way of saying that this is all about life and community and each other. And we need to remind ourselves and each other that it's okay not to be okay. And when you're in that dark, black moment, and each of us will have our dark, black moment, that it will pass, that there is a helping hand, that there is support, that there is love for you, and not least here in the community of Ballyfermot. So well done, that's all I can say. Remember this, each and every one of us, it doesn't matter what walk of life you're in, where you come from, what your background is, what the colour of your skin is, or what your life experience has been. We're all human, and we can all be brittle. But we're also human, and we can be strong, and we can be strong for each other. And for me, that's the message from Warren, that's the message from Kelly, that is the message today here from everyone in Ballyfermot. I've never been prouder to stand here in Lafanu in this park as we remember Andrea Dempsey, as we remember all of those that we have lost, and as we commit to each other to say that we will not lose any more life, that we will celebrate each other, that we will help each other. And to the person in the crowd who's maybe having a bad day today, listen to me, it'll pass. Listen to us and see this. This is an act of humanity and love. Ballyfermot loves you. Your community loves you. When you're in that dark place, reach for the light. Reach out. Come, find someone, talk to them. And you know what? When one day passes and the next day dawns, you look again with fresh eyes and you know that life is always worth living. So well done, one and all. Up Ballyfermot, come on the Dubs, 5 in a row. Donny Doolan's a Cork man, but sure, what about him? 5 in a row, up the Dubs. Goramila Mahaga.
So I'm here with Ken O'Driscoll from the Cherry Orchard Running Club at the People's Rally, the World Suicide Prevention Day. Fair play to you for jumping in and speaking to me there, Kenneth. Sorry, a few technical difficulties getting up and running there. But basically, I was just looking to talk a bit about the importance of, you might be able to elaborate on this, physical health, how it impacts your mental health. You know, we were just talking about that briefly there with Mary Lou, that this podcast basically is about your mental, your physical and your spiritual health, kind of, you know, and how each one helps the other. And I often think, you know, running and things like that, you know, get the endorphins going, will make you feel a lot better about yourself. You don't come across that much, people's moods lifting.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, for me personally, I started running going back about 10, 12 years ago. And for me, I went through a bit of a bad patch in life, like most of us do. Started feeling real down on myself, couldn't shake it, I had a bit of depression and stuff like that, but I was introduced to running. And from there, I just felt amazing. Every time I done a run, as I say, like for your mental health especially, like if you're feeling down at all, go out and do a 10-20 minute run before you know it, you're in much better form.
Yeah, no, it is true as well. And it's not just running, it seems to be on other other things as well, you know, lifting weights or whatever. People get out for a walk. I know some people, you know, find it tough to even get off the couch, you know, but it's big importance, and you know, it's one of those things that you never regret doing once you get out and do it, isn't it? You know, it's hard to do it.
Yeah, the initial, we've been insane in the running, and like you said, any physical exercise at all is brilliant for your mental health. The hard part is making the decision to do it, and once you get out and start, you know what I mean, there's no stopping you.
Yeah.
I've seen it from Airflow, for instance. Like, we always try to invite people with open arms to come down, and I've seen people, their whole lives changing just through physical exercise. And these are people who are suffering with depression and suffering with alcohol problems or drug problems and different things, you know?
Yeah. And the last podcast I was doing, we were talking to someone who was looking in Spark exercise things. It was basically an experiment in the US where they extended the kids' morning routine, gave them more exercise during the day, and the results of even their, you know, exam results went up hugely just from the exercise. And they were kind of concluding that exercise was the medicine for the mind almost, you know. And I thought that was important. It's even great having you here talking about it, because on such a day, Suicide Prevention Day, you know, I think it's one of the key answers to it. You know, if you feel shit in your room or like that, get out and go for a walk. Even getting the air into you, you know, can change you completely. You know, your mindset.
Definitely, and like as you said there about the kids, I think it definitely should be introduced to the kids more often. Yeah. Whether it be first thing in the morning or in the curriculum. I know you have PE and all that, but I think there should be more emphasis put on it regards like the mental health. You know what I mean? How to improve in school and all that.
Yeah, because PE I think is very vague. You know, it's you know, they bring their runners in and play volleyball or whatever, but they doesn't actually sit down and talk to them about the importance of it or what they're learning. I think, you know, twice a week for a half hour, it's probably not good enough. You know, this is like, everyone says your health, your wealth, so it should be put before even work or anything like that, you know.
Definitely, like it should, there should be much more importance put on it. And as you said there about talking to them, explaining to the kids why it's so important. Yeah. Not just for the sake of being, you know what I mean, being healthy or that, but think more so to that about their mental stuff and things like that. About them feeling better about themselves when they do it.
Yeah, I think it needs a rehaul almost in the school system, that PE, you know, that should be 3 times a week in the mornings, or you know what I mean.
I agree with you 100%. At the minute, it's funny you talk about the school kids, because I'm doing a challenge at the minute where I'm hoping to run 100 kilometres. Okay. And what I was suggesting was that some of the school kids, maybe throughout their school year, that they try match what I'm doing. So they do a half a kilometre a day for the whole period. Yeah. And then it adds up to 100k hopefully at the end of the period. That's
a great incentive, you know, because when people go out running, sometimes they're not even taught how to run. I know that sounds like a silly thing, but you know, you can injure yourself and run through it. But actually, I wanted to ask you about something here, because this is something I've been doing myself recently, and I want to get your opinion on it. I've started intermittent fasting the last 2 weeks, and I found out that I seem to be running a lot better, like 16, 17 hours into a fast. Do you ever come across why that is, or anything like that? I believe after the 12-hour mark, you burn from your fat stores, which apparently is the most concentrated store of energy. But it goes against all, you know, what we're thinking. You need good carbs to fuel you. Yeah, but still, I'm going from like struggling through 5Ks to 10Ks now.
Brilliant, well done. Yeah, for me, I've tried it in the past myself, and yeah, I think that when we talk about carbs and stuff, I think the day before, if you have enough carbs in you, and then obviously if you fast through the night and go and do a training session the next day, I think it does make you lighter on your feet, and whatever it does, it definitely improves you. I've noticed myself.
Yeah, it is like that lighterness, or you're sharp, you're not sluggish or something like that, you're not carrying, it feels like you're not carrying as much weight or something like that, yeah. No, I think that, you know, fair play to you for coming down, because I think really to emphasise, like, I think physical exercise is one of the key things of getting over mental health. Now, I know there's a lot more going on in people's minds than just getting out and going for a run, but it can help tremendously, can't it? You know?
Without a doubt. As I say, your problems will still be there, but it's how you deal with them. And the thing is, like, when you run or become a runner, the problems, like, you will deal with them. You know what I mean? You look at them in a whole different way. Your brain works differently. So, although you're still struggling, you still have your problems, you still have the bills coming in and all sorts of issues, but you can deal with them much, much better if you become a runner, or if you do any sort of physical exercise on a regular basis.
Yeah. Fair play. Appreciate you coming over, Ken, and talking about it. Fair play to you. Nice one.